It was a gross Monday. Had some nasty stuff going on, some tough beats, some just
They
gross
were,
games all around.
they were ugly beats. They weren't tough. Look,
Yeah.
that's how you want to lose a game in the first fucking inning, put you out of your misery.
Yep. So not an ideal Monday. A lot of the week to get going, and we got a game one in the Western Conference Finals tonight. John, Lakers, Nuggets. We can start there. We touched on that series a little bit yesterday. Didn't dive too much into it, but hey, LeBron versus Joker. A couple of the better guys. Obviously, AD Jokic matchup's going to be awesome to watch tonight. But from the betting angle, I mean, this line opened up 5, it's gone ticked up, now up to 6. Started touching 6.5, came back down. Total's been pretty steady at 222.5. You have any thoughts, any reads on this game?
Sure do. Great game one. You're looking at Denver here, second best home record during the regular season. Comes into playoffs 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread. The only game they didn't cover, closeout game against the Timberwolves. Lakers, after a 2-10 start, best team, best record since the All-Star break. We've talked about it ad nauseum. But with that being said, their playoff road record now just 2-4 in their 6 road games. They've also won all their games at home. These teams met 4 times regular season, each covered and one end covered at home. And that looks what this is going to be, a home series. Denver, like we said, as good as they are at home, they don't get the job done on the road. I believe it's 18-23, 19-22, straight up and against the spread on the road. So looking for the home team's big edge in Denver as always. You get the Jokey here, who we've had this discussion. He's my MVP every year. He's worth more to them than anybody. We talked about Embiid. Embiid's a good player. We put his face on a milk carton, though, yesterday after he disappeared. I don't want to kill Embiid. This guy, he played that series with a sprained LCL. So just everybody's got to keep that in mind. Harden, take out the 2 ridiculous games, the 2 throwback to his Rocket days, his early Rocket days. And he was horrible. I mean, he was just absolutely horrible. He had those 2 monsters. He was responsible for the game 1 win, no question about it, when Embiid sat out. But 2 horrible games. So, give Embiid props for playing, but he's not the Joker. Joker, 30.7 on 54.9% shooting, 12.8 boards, 9.7 assists. Guys, this is against playoff teams. There's no Charlotte Hornets, Detroit Pistons in the playoffs. These are all solid teams. He puts up ridiculous numbers. He makes everybody on the court better. Jamal Murray had 25.9 through the playoffs, and that's what they've been missing. If we get Jamal Murray from the bubble a couple of years ago, that's a dangerous Denver team. Going to be a great series. My opening number was 5. Just what the opening number in Vegas was. It's ticked up to 6. So all that being said, with me figuring in, giving everything for the whole team, if it was to continue to go high, I could only be on the dog or no one. I'm not looking to lay this. Expect more defense. Lakers, the best defensive efficiency team in the playoffs. They've been playing great basketball defensively. So fresh start for all the teams. 5 was my number. I thought that was a solid number. As I said, that's what the lines open in every spot in Vegas and didn't take up till 6 till the other day. A point's just not enough for me to have an edge. 7 would be an absolute bet with the Lakers.
Yeah, like you said, with the home teams dominating the series, interesting price on the series. If you guys looking maybe bet a future, I mean, for this to go 7 games is plus 205. Looking at possibility of that with all home teams, the way they dominate. As far as, the direct matchup, Lakers, Nuggets, the one thing that scares me for the Lakers a little bit is the 3-point defense. And they gave Golden State a lot of good looks. I mean, if Klay Thompson had a good series, Warriors win that series. I mean, he was getting open looks the entire time. Same thing with that Memphis series. Everyone was getting good looks from deep. The only guy who made them pay was Desmond Bane. So they were able to afford that. We've seen what Denver's done with the 3-point shooting in this playoffs. We know what they do at home with the 3-point shooting. So it's going to be really tough for me to see Lakers going in, stealing a game 1. I do think they have the best chance to do it as far as matching up. LeBron seemed pretty confident heading into the series, as he should. I think the Lakers match up as good as you can against Denver. In this game one, I lean a little bit to the over. Lakers play very up-tempo. We saw that in the Golden State series. The last 2 games in the Golden State series did go over. You had the matchup in the season. 3 of the 4 games went under between the Lakers and the Nuggets, but 3 of their 4 game ones in series have been high scoring, a little bit more up-tempo. Lean a little bit to the over here in this game. And then that's it for the game one in the Western Conference. Obviously, we'll touch on the Eastern Conference tomorrow. Heat, Celtics. Doc Rivers did just get fired this morning. I know we touched on that a bit yesterday. So he got kind of the blame, I guess, so to speak, for what happened. And like you said, it is a little bit of Embiid. I think the problem with Embiid is he doesn't play. He plays for the whistle, and you can't be 7 foot tall playing to the whistle. And in the playoffs, game 7, you're not getting that whistle. So we'll see how that goes for Philly. John, baseball, not the best Monday. It was a pretty good weekend. And the last couple of weeks been really good with MLB. And we got this Nats-Marlins game, first one on the card, to try to get it back. Yeah, well, we had the Nats yesterday. Get the job done against a Met team that's struggling. This was a gimme. Yesterday was a gimme. So we get that first one in and looking for a big Monday, but pretty much got our ass kicked. There's no other way to talk about it. What I can tell you guys, if the moron that's out there that DM'd me is like, a love bet Milwaukee 18-1, keep your day job. Well, you're blocked today. Guys, the last, I don't want DMs. I don't want DMs to tell me I'm the best when I win the national bet, but I certainly don't want to get DM'd with telling me how bad a capper I am when I have a losing bet. Nothing more frustrating than that. Same thing as guys in my chat that wait till after a game's over to say, why did we bet this team? I'd have more respect for you, if you ask before the game, but don't ask me. Go to the previews. We write a preview on every game. So if I tell you all the stars aligned, we had Flaherty, who'd been absolutely horrible. His last 3 starts, horrible. His best start was his last start. His last start, obviously prior to last night, he'd given up 3 runs in 5 innings, but that didn't tell this whole story. That's not a great start. That's not even a quality start, a bare minimum quality start. But within the numbers underneath that start, he'd given up 7 hits and 5 walks. He'd been hard. The 2 starts before that, he was obliterated. You had Cardinals coming off a Sunday night game. You had Peralta, who'd been pitching good. All the stars aligned. This is why we make the bets. I don't pull games out of my ass to make a bet. Same thing with Texas. I just felt that this kid had good numbers coming out of AAA. Obviously, AAA, not the major leagues. But when I see a kid, 0.96 ERA, 0.86 WHIP, I think he can keep that team in check. And you've got the highest scoring team. The number I thought saw value there. Look, Braves got off the plane hitting. There was going be no way to stop them yesterday, and we'll take the L. Whether you lose the game 18-1 or 1-0, I gotta come, guys. Dead serious. I'd rather lose 18-1. Cardinal game. We were dead in the first inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. We Flaherty, who'd been horrible the last 3 games. We let him off the hook. They hit they get 3 runs in the bottom of the first. Game was over. Braves, I believe they got 4 in the second. So they were quick deaths, and then that's how I'd rather die than sweat it all out, and then the Dodger game, lose it in the 12th inning. But anyway, let's get back to today. As Ben said, first game, Nationals Marlins. Hey, this is a different national team. We said it last year after the trade when they traded Soto. They're playing better ball without Soto since the trade. They're definitely playing better on the road. They're a better road team than they are at home. And Gray is a better pitcher at home than he is on the road. Now, Luzardo's been pitching good, and he's been pitching really good at home, but he's a lefty. We bet the Nationals yesterday partly on the reason because the Mets had Peterson going, another lefty. Well, after yesterday's slaughter of Peterson, the Nationals now are up to 304 versus left-handed pitchers this year, and they're hitting 282 this week.
The Marlins put Sanchez on the IL. Chisholm didn't play the last game. He's also questionable. This is Nationals and nobody at this number.
Yeah, and that's bats waking up. Josiah Gray, he's been great. 3 of his last 4 starts were quality starts. He's been better on the road just like last year. And got to be Nats or nobody. Bats are hot. They're doing this thing. Miami, they're coming off dropping 2 of 3 versus Cincinnati. They haven't been playing the best of ball. Chisholm questionable. We'll see what's going on there. But yeah, I agree with John. Nats or nobody. Gray's been doing too much. The bat's been doing too much. And got to take advantage of this Nats team with the prices there. Last year, like John said, the bats were there. The pitching was the problem. But Corbin, great start yesterday. He's been giving them great outings. They pick up Gore from San Diego. He's been giving great outings, and Gray's been giving it. They have a true 1-2-3 in their rotation this year, not depending on any 4-year-old Anibal Sanchez or anything like that. Next game, John, Brewers Cardinals. Game 1, absolute domination from St. Louis. They're red hot right now. They've won 7 of 8, scoring 27 runs the last 2 games, doing it all they can offensively. Miley versus Montgomery. Wade Miley, he's been good, but he's coming off his worst start this year. Gave up 7 runs and a loss to the Dodgers. He has been better on the road, 1-1, 3.00. And then Montgomery, he's lost his last 6 starts. He was roughed up at Chicago his last outing. Prior to that, he had 3 quality starts. He had a good 7 shutout innings versus Brewers earlier this year. So 2 pitchers who've been pitching well, coming off their worst starts. And obviously, you got a little revenge today from Milwaukee. Big prize for Miley. Got to be a lean to the Brewers. I'm not dying to jump in front of this Cardinals team right now. They lost a bunch in a row. Now they're kind of making up for it, playing good ball right now.
Cardinals are red hot. They just turned on a dime. They were horrible. Boom, they're red hot.
Mm-hmm.
Exact opposite of the Pittsburgh Pirates, red hot, ice cold. These are who they are. This is who the Cardinals should have been with that lineup, and this is who the Pirates should have been. Yeah, it's tough to jump in front of this Cardinal team that's red hot right now, but this price is absolutely ridiculous. If the Cardinals didn't score 27, but they did score 27, right? But if they weren't this red hot, this line is no more than 130. This is a tremendous overlay. Remember, you beat a division opponent 18-1. They're coming with a game today. Miley was horrible. He was our last love bet against Kershaw, and the Dodgers just crushed him. Another game. Dodgers were hitting under 200 against lefties when they faced Miley last week, and they just happened to crush him. Got to come right back with Miley. Yes, that was his. He hadn't given up more than 3 runs in the entire season, in any game in the entire season before last night. I'm just watching some movement here on these games. So I'm going to throw out that one bad start. No way can I make this number this high. We'll come right back with the Brewers.
Yeah, I will say the division price on that NL Central is quite interesting. Cardinals right now, they're 6.5 games back of Milwaukee, currently plus 290 to win that division. If you guys think they can continue playing this style of baseball the next couple of months. Then on to the next game, we have Reds at Colorado. Rockies get the first one of the series, win 9-8. They've now won 4 straight meetings in Colorado. It's Williamson versus Anderson here. Anderson going to make his first start this year. After a couple of relief outings, Williamson going to be making a debut. So this is an over game or nothing. We saw 17 runs yesterday, a couple of pitchers coming up. One obviously had some pretty good outings this year, 5 shutout innings, but just different. Hasn't had an appearance in Coors, and obviously Coors is everything there. So lean a little bit to the over in this game, slight lean to the Rockies. Don't love it in this instance. This is a tough game. Not really an edge I could argue with this pitching matchup.
Yeah, this will be a tough one, but Rockies playing good ball, hitting 287 at Coors Field. They're 10-4 their last 14. Cincy, they just dropped their last 2 after a couple of wins at Miami, but they've had some road struggles. To me, I make Colorado a tinge higher, but not enough to want to jump on the favorite in this one.
Wheeler versus Cobb, great pitching matchup in San Francisco tonight. Cobb has just been lights out. I mean, coming off 2 starts of 14 shutout innings. He had to start in Mexico. Prior to that, he had a complete game shutout. Last year against Phillies, 7 shutout innings. So Cobb's got all the pitching stats going for him. Wheeler, 3 of his last 4 starts been quality starts. Hasn't faced Giants since 2021. Gave up 4 runs in 5 innings then. Slight pitching edge to Cobb here. Wheeler typically some road struggles. and Cobb just pitching out of his mind right now. And then as far as matchup history, Giants won 8 of the last 9 in San Francisco, and they're getting some dog money at home. This is Giants or nobody all the way.
Giants or nobody. I'm going to give Cobb more than a slight edge. He's just been absolute monster. I actually wrote in the preview, it's been since April 19th since he's given up a run in the United States. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings to the Padres in the bandbox in Mexico at the high altitude. But other than that, his last 2 starts hadn't given up a run. Gave up the runs in Mexico, and the time before that, complete game shutout. He's been unhittable here in the United States. 2-1, 1.35 ERA at home. And as Ben said, Wheeler struggles on the road. This is San Fran and nobody, no brainer.
Angels at Baltimore. Tani last night didn't really have his stuff pitching. John and I were texting back and forth, and that was happening. The next thing you know, just a monster shot. He found a groove there. Silseth versus Creamer today. Baltimore, Creamer's coming off 2 quality starts. 1 run in 12 innings, been pitching good. Silseth going to make first start this year. He's had 4 relief outings. Last time out, gave up 6 runs in 3.1 innings. This is pitching edge to Creamer. He's been great. Lineup edge right now, you could argue to the Angels. They've been hitting pretty well. The O's been struggling a little bit at the plate. They're still winning games. They are 4-3 on the homestand. This is slightly into the Angels for me. Don't love it. I mean, clear pitching edge to Creamer. Just don't want to be laying O's at this price with the bat's not too hot right now.
And that's the only reason I'm not betting the O's. I like the Orioles in this one, but they are just not hitting the ball. This road trip, this homestand, 4-3, but scoring just 2.7 runs per game, and they're hitting 218 in the last week. Angels 2-2 on this road trip, scoring 5.8 runs per game. So would have bet Creamer if the price was lower, but don't want to lay it with the Orioles bats all of a sudden going silent. But hey, Orioles have been a fantastic team so far this year.
Then it's Yankees at Blue Jays. Yankees get game 1. They've now won 12 of the last 16 meetings at Toronto. Judge pops another 2 home runs. He's getting his groove back in the lineup. Herman versus Gausman. You have Gausman who's been really good. He had 1 really bad start at Boston. Other than that, been pretty dominant. Coming off 6 shutout innings at Philly. He had 7 shutout innings against the Yankees earlier this season. Was great against them last year with a 1.89 ERA in 3 starts. This is a clear pitching edge here to Gausman, but Herman's been pretty decent. He was good against that hot Rays lineup, allowed 4 runs in 10 2/3 in 2 starts. Did have a bad start against the Jays earlier this year. Yankees hitting too well right now for this price to be this high. They come into this now. They've won 6 of 8, scoring 7.4 runs per game. And I know you keep saying it, John. Judge in that lineup has made everybody better, and it doesn't hurt when he's adding in a pair of homers.
That doesn't hurt. Just touch on yesterday's game. How the mighty have fallen. Manoah last year, an all-star pitcher, and he's just – look, we couldn't touch it yesterday. I didn't want to go with an opener against Manoah, who had great numbers against the Yankees. Mm-hmm. He had a rough year this year, but his numbers against the Yankees were great. And even this year, he had a good outing. So just didn't want to go there with an opener in Brito. But the Yankees bats, as Ben said, on fire right now. Just give me a 1 sec. We're just looking at some numbers here moving. Yeah, Judge is back. He's letting everybody know he's back. They're scoring runs. There's no way. They pushed this game on the overnight as high as take back 170. We took plus 170 this morning. Didn't want to buck Guzman. Didn't want to buck his numbers in this spot. Toronto, second best home record, just Tampa Bay better. Have to take 170 with a Yankee team that's finding their stride. They were in the doldrums, especially that 10-day stretch with Judge on the IL. He's back. They're back. The Yankees, great success in Toronto, winning 12 of the last 16. This was a number. There's a few games just had to take. It was tough pulling the trigger on Milwaukee against the Red Hot Cardinals, but the number is insane. Same fact here. Taking plus 170 with the Yankees is a no-brainer, even with the pitching mismatch.
Yeah, standing purposes, they just tied up with Jays in the win column, so they can't pass Toronto in the series and start making their way up that AL East, which Tampa has that solid lead. Then it's Mariners at Boston, and they're just the opposite of the Yankees. Just as their bats started heating up, the Red Sox started cooling off. They've now lost 6 of 7. They've scored just 1 run in each of their last 2 games. Seattle comes in with a 10-1 win yesterday. Red Sox had won 5 prior meetings in Boston. Huge pitching edge to Seattle. Castillo versus Pivetta. Castillo hasn't been as dominant in his last few starts. Gave up 9 runs in 17 innings. Did have a decent start against the Red Sox last year. Held him to 1 hit and 6 shutout innings. And then Pivetta, I mean, what are you going to get out of him? Whoever knows. Coming up, giving up 7 runs in 4 innings at Atlanta. Faced M's in 2021 with a quality start. Pivetta is the hardest pitcher for me to read in the MLB. Some days you get just lights out stuff. Sometimes you just looks like Patrick Corbin last year. So really tough here to back Boston. The bats aren't going. Slightly into the Red Sox in this game. I leaned to them yesterday, but can't bet them. They're not hitting.
Can't bet them. Number says bet the home dog Red Sox. They'd been playing great up until that series with the Cardinals. They blow a couple of late inning games there, and then they get crushed yesterday by the Mariners. The bats aren't hitting. Red Sox were third in batting average and runs scored going into last night. They actually dropped down now. Can't get behind Pivetta. Not only was he destroyed in his last time out, just hasn't been good this year. He's had a couple of spot starts here and there where he's been good. But hey, I'm not ready to try to find if he's going to be good right now. Mariners, they've been hitting terrible all year long. 229, they're 28th in the league with a 229 batting average, but they're finding ways to score. They've won 3 or 4 on this trip, scoring 6.8 runs per game. I want to bet against Castillo. It's an overlay. Just can't pull a trigger on a Red Sox team that all of a sudden stopped hitting with a guy that's been getting slaughtered in Pivetta.
It's Guardians at White Sox. This game is almost feels like we're missing something with this price, I feel. Guardians at Chicago. Bieber versus Lynn. Lynn's been as bad as it gets. Gave up 7 runs off 9 hits in 5 innings at Kansas City. Usually pitches well against Kansas City. Went 1-2, 4.50 against Cleveland last year. Meanwhile, Bieber's just been dominant. 7 of his 8 starts have been quality starts. Last 3, 4 runs in 21 innings. Price has only gone down. I don't know what the sharps are betting here in Chicago. I don't see it. I don't know if there's an injury that hasn't come out yet that we're going to hear in a couple of hours. But this price is starting to get lower and lower. This is Bieber and the Guardians, absolutely or nothing. White Sox down there in the bottom of the AL, whole ML essentially. So lean here to Guardians. It's just a low price.
I got to be honest with you. I feel like a sucker today. I got a couple of road favorites today, and you know I'm a home dog guy. But this one, if this game shouldn't be $1.50, as Ben said, Bieber pitching great, pitched great against the White Sox last year. Lynn pitching horrible, pitched horrible against the Guardians last year. Mm-hmm. Guardians actually a better road team than they are at home. Look, I get the Guardians aren't hitting, but the White Sox are terrible. I'm all over. This is a pitching mismatch. I'm all over Guardians in this one.
Yeah, I don't know if Lynn can pull out a good start out of his ass, but even still, Bieber's been keeping him in games either way.
If he does, it'll be one of the first. If he pulls one.
Yeah. Then it's Pirates at Detroit. Pittsburgh just keeps on struggling. They get a big win on Sunday at Baltimore, but it just took a magnificent start from Keller with 13 Ks. Don't know if they're going to be getting that same outing from Ortiz. They're still just 2-11 their last 13, scoring 2.2 runs per game their last 5, hitting $173 this week. Really tough to back that offense. Detroit, they struggle a little bit in that series with Seattle. They get the last one in the series, though. And Lorenzen, he's been good, coming off 2 quality starts, 2 runs in 14 innings. This is pitching edge here to Lorenzen, lineup edge to Detroit. Tigers are no one.
Yeah, I'd have to say so. Just not ready to lay a price with the Tigers. But, yeah, Lorenzen, it looks like he's turned the corner the last couple of starts. Ortiz, he made his 2023 debut, his last time out, smacked for 5 runs. Only 2 were earned, though, in 5 innings. And last year, 0-2, 4.50 ERA in just 4 starts. So absolute pitching edge for Lorenzen. Pirates, they scored 4 runs. I think that's the first time they scored more than 2 runs since the Willie Stargell days. But they look, we talked about it. Cardinals went from ice cold to red hot. Pirates, red hot to ice cold. 2-11 their last 13, 2.2 runs per game. Detroit or anybody, just not willing. I'd lay it as a lower favorite. Minus a dime, I could be interested in Detroit, not higher than a dime.
Hot and cold teams. I don't think we've had any other two in this matchup. Rays at Mets. Mets have just been ice cold, 6-15 the last 21. They're coming off a split series with Washington. Tampa Bay. They have dropped 4 of the last 6, still scoring 5.3 runs per game, hitting 280 this week. So offense is still going. Pitching matchup, edge to the Mets. Verlander versus a bullpen game here for Tampa Bay. Verlander look a lot better in that second start. Granted, it was against the Reds, but 1 run in 7 innings, 7 Ks, 2 walks, getting his group back. And he threw 104 pitches, so no restriction on him, which is good to see. So you're going to be getting that A stuff. But Mets being $1.50, 55 favorite, I just can't do it. I mean, they're not hitting, they're not playing. This is Rays or nothing. Best offense in the MLB versus one of the coldest teams in baseball.
It is, but yeah, it looks like Yandy Diaz, who leads the team in home runs and batting average. I'm going to actually move him to doubtful. In our preview, we had him as questionable. He looks a little bit more doubtful. They're calling him day to day. That's a big bat out of that lineup. Look, Tampa Bay still leads the league in homers, leads the team in batting average, second by 1/10, or 1/100th of a run behind Texas Rangers. Texas 6.20 runs per game, Rays 6.19 runs per game. So they're scoring, but they're going to go with the look. They do it all the time with the opener. Beats will be used as an opener. Krynos will follow. He'll piggyback. We keep saying this almost every day. This is a must game for them.
Yeah.
Got to get back on the winning track. The only bright spot that they've got is now Verlander and Scherzer have put together two good pitching performances in their last 2 outings to give them a ray of hope. It ain't giving me a ray of hope because to me, who's the next one of these old men to get hurt and go on the ice again? So anyway, I get that the price for today may be a little bit of an overlay, but without Diaz in the lineup, Verlander in for his second start against one of the the opener situation for the Rays. You got to give them the Mets a tremendous pitching advantage, and with Diaz, that's enough to keep me out. Now, if this game was to go higher, or if they bring Diaz back in, I'll agree with Ben at that point. Rays or no one.
Yeah, that Rays bullpen, the top of the league as far as usage. Obviously, they use a lot of these openers, but still 6 in ERA. The next team behind them as far as bullpen usage is Oakland. And as everyone can guess, they are last in ERA. So the amount of usage they get and at the efficiency they do is impressive. Braves at Rangers. Braves get the big 12-0 win yesterday. Rangers won 2 of 3 last season. Schuster versus Dunning. Dunning was a starter last year, started in the bullpen this season, brought him back out of the bullpen. He's been good. 2 starts, 2 runs, 11 innings, 8 Ks, 1 walk. Had a good start against the Braves last year as well. 1 run in 7 2/3. And it's Schuster who's going to be recalled up here for Atlanta. As far as his AAA number is pretty decent. This is Rangers or nobody. I mean, the same thing as yesterday, right? Pitching edge isn't too drastic there. Obviously, you might like that Atlanta lineup a little bit more, but Rangers putting up runs. Like you said, lead the league in scoring. So home dog with the Rangers or nothing. Dunning's been solid, and Texas bats coming off a goose egg yesterday. I would expect them to bounce back today.
I would have already bet Texas today, but the Sharps have been against Texas every single day. So I'm waiting for them to bet against them again today. Schuster smashed in his first couple of starts earlier this season in April. Goes down to AAA Gwinnett. 3.28 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Nothing impressive about that. And just a 23-14 K walk ratio. So there ain't nothing I like about this kid. Dunning's pitched real well for Texas. Same kind of situation as the Brewers coming off that 18-1 shellacking. You can look at, okay, Braves busted out. Yeah, they busted out, but they put it on them, a 12-0 beatdown in their own home. Expect Texas to come back. Also look for Seager. We thought he was going to get activated yesterday. He did not. He will be activated one day this week. We'll see if today's the day. But as I said, Sharps, their betting pattern, betting against Texas every day. We'll wait to see if that line moves back up, and that's when we'll jump in and take Texas, especially if Seager's back in the lineup.
Cubs at Astros. Bellinger questionable for Chicago. Steele versus Javier, the pitching matchup. Great pitching matchup. Steele 4th in ERA. 7 of his 8 starts been quality starts. Last 2 gave up 4 runs and 13 innings pitched. Then Javier, they've won 4 of his last 5. Last 2 were quality starts, 5 runs and 13 innings. this is a big price for how good Steele has been. Granted, Cubs have been horrible. They've lost 3 straight. They're 2-9 in their last 11 road games. Not much to like about this Cubs team right now outside of Steele. Just got a big price there for who's been, 4th in ERA in baseball, top 5 pitcher by runs allowed right now. So gotta respect that a little bit. Cubs are no one.
Cubs are nobody. Just because of that. Look, no disrespect. Javier's been real good. Good baseball. But Houston not even playing 500 ball at home. They've won, is it 4 or 5? But they're scoring, where am I? What are they scoring? 4 runs per game? So it's just not lighting it up. Steele's, he's been pitching zeros. He's been throwing zeros out there. I think in his last game, he gave up 3 runs. That's the most he's given up the entire year in any one game. Big number. We're again waiting to see what the story is with Bellinger in that one. Cubs are nobody. Big number.
D-backs at A's, same story. Bet against the A's. It's Henry versus Moeller. Moeller's been roughed up his last 2 starts, 11 runs, 13 hits, and 9 1/3. D-backs, they've won Henry's 3 of his 4 starts. He's coming off 2 quality starts. They get the win yesterday. They've now won 4 straight. A's now come in. What is it? They lost 8 of the last 9. They lost 3 straight. This is D-backs are nobody. A's are just plain and simply unbackable.
A's have been a curse. So we bet against them with Perez, the opening game of the Texas series, and we have a 2-run lead in the extra innings, and we lose the game with a walk-off bomb as Oakland wins that game. Bet against them the next 2 games, and we get pitched out. As I always tell everybody, I bet money line with listed pitchers, so I don't have a choice. When it's a pitch out, it's a pitch out. Your bet doesn't go. So we missed both of those bets. We didn't take the bet last night because Kelly was just a little too high. But I'm gonna look. Our Oakland is on auto fade at this point. If there's any kind of reasonable number against them, this is a historic. Been saying it for a while. Historically bad team. They're on pace to win 34 games this year. Would be an all-time low Major League Baseball. On pace to win 14 of 81 at home in Oakland. They're leaving. They put the money down. They're going to Vegas. It's a done deal. They'll get no support at home. They're a miserable team. The pitch is miserable. Arizona, if the season was over today, they're a playoff team. They're over 500 on the road. They're second in the league as far as team batting average. This number should be 170 at least. They're underpricing Oakland. I feel they're overvaluing Oakland. As stupid as that may sound, it looks to me like they're overvaluing Oakland. Oakland's that bad. I'll bet against them. Let them win some games against me.
Then it's Royals at Padres. Royals also been pretty brutal. They had that nice little stretch against the A's and the White Sox, the other 2 bad teams, and then got right back in the losing streak. They now lost 4 straight, scoring 2.5 runs per game. San Diego, they snapped a 5-game win streak. Machado left last night's game. He's questionable. Singer versus Lugo. Singer, he was great last year. He's coming off his 2nd quality start this season, again, against the White Sox. So can you do it against a legit team? That was 1 run, 6 innings. Prior to that, gave up 13 runs in his 6 2/3 prior 2 starts. And then it's Lugo. 3 of his last 4 starts been quality starts. Tough series here just because San Diego has been that bad. Milwaukee was really struggling. Then they beat up on KC, got right in that series. Feels like this is that same series now for the Padres for them to get right, get a rhythm. Can only like the under in this game. I don't want to be betting Kansas City losing 4 straight. Their bats have cooled off. They're not hitting. San Diego hasn't been hitting. Granted, Singer could get crushed for 8 runs again, but slight lean here to this under. I don't know if Padres have it in them to put up 8 runs on a starting pitcher right now.
I don't think they do. Look, this is why we bet against the Padres last night. Guys, instead of DMing me, read the previews, man. Just Padres right now hitting $183 this week. Dead last in the major leagues for the year at 224. Look, this is why we bet against them. It was a ridiculous number. It's all about value, guys. Look, I know the game closed 4-3, but Waka pitched unbelievable, pitched much better than we thought he possibly could pitch yesterday. KC kept us in the game, just not enough to get the W. Now you got Machado out. I want to pull the trigger on KC, but just can't. As Ben said, Singer's been horrible. As good as he was last year, it's how bad he is this year. He's had one real good quality start his last time out. Again, that's against the White Sox. It's part of that. The White Sox are that bad. That's why I'm betting against them at home as a home dog today with Bieber. So just can't get behind Singer and KC, even if Machado is out. But San Diego's been absolutely horrible. That's why we bet against them yesterday. It's KC or nobody. But again, in this spot, it's just nobody. Just can't get behind KC. With Singer on the mound. Lugo's been good.
And last game on the card, Dodgers and Twins. Love this pitching matchup. Over versus Kershaw. Over's been pretty good. 3 of his 4 starts, quality starts. Last 2 allowed 3 runs across 13 innings, 12 Ks, 1 walk. As far as this Twins team, they come in just lighting it up against the Cubs. Double-digit runs back-to-back days. They still put up 8 runs yesterday. They were down 6-3, forced it to extras. Game went to the 12th, and they lost it on a walk-off walk. So really tough situation there for Minnesota, but they're hitting right now. 12 runs per game their last 3, and Dodgers are doing their thing. They have now won 6 straight, 14-2 their last 16, playing really good baseball. These Kershaw home numbers, 3-0, 0.45 ERA, 27 Ks, 0 walks. Absolutely untouchable at home. Really tough to go against, but big number for a Twins team putting up double-digit runs, and a guy's giving them quality starts on the mound.
Right. I don't know if Ben mentioned it. Also, 11 straight wins for the Dodgers over the Twins. We put that we do our trends up on Instagram every day. That was our trend yesterday. It was 10 straight with outscoring them 32-10 in the 4 games last year. Cannot, but this is an overlay. Let me say that. But there's no way the number should be this high against a Twin team that's scoring runs. But Kershaw has just been lights out, especially at home. He got me in the last game at Milwaukee, pitching 0.45 ERA, 27 Ks, 0 walks. I mean, again, we talk about video game numbers. That's the only time you have a 27K to 0 walk ratio. So, yeah, can't buck that trend, but it's absolute overlay. I guess if we had our man Noble one here, probably the only guy who wants to just close his eyes and bet the Dodgers. I can't do it. But I just can't take the Twins as good as Kershaw has been pitching. And the Dodgers are red hot. Back to they're back to being the Dodgers. They're back on pace to win that 100 games. So, this is a tough one. I'll stay off this when I see value in other spots.
Yeah, a lot of square bettors excited right now. Both Yankees and Dodgers hot at the same time. So you guys can have fun with that. But yeah, Kershaw also had 7 perfect innings. Forgot to say that against the Twins last year. He got pulled short because he was on a leash. He still hasn't had that perfect game in his career. Who knows? Maybe he reaches back, touches that again tonight. Good baseball card. A lot of good pitching matchups going on today. And obviously the game 1, Nuggets-Lakers going on tonight. So far, no bet on that. Could change at halftime. John, anything else? Obviously a rough Monday, but a lot of good action today on the card. Going to be a lot of MLB bets.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. So what do we got already? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bets in already. There's a guaranteed 2 more. We're just waiting on how the numbers go in lineups. And there literally could be more. I really like today's card. Guys, bear in mind, we bet 90% dogs. Today we do happen to have a couple of favorites, but it's 90% dogs. They're dogs for a reason. That means the other team is favorite to win the game. We're going to lose more games than we win. Hang in there. Whether it's 18-1 or 1-0, it's either a win or a loss, depending on what side you're on. That doesn't matter. Again, would much rather lose 18-1 than to lose with a walk-off like we lost the last week, a walk-off squeeze play with the Royals and the White Sox. Beat me 18-1, I ain't got to sweat the whole game out. I can go to the gym and lift some weights, get some aggravation out. But all that being said, it's about getting an edge. I felt we have an edge. When I feel we have an edge, that's when we're going to make a bet with the games. Sometimes you hold your nose. Again, 2 games today. Don't want to go into the St. Louis Cardinals buzzsaw 27 runs in 2 games. But the number is just, to me, it's outlandish. It's a crazy number. You beat your rival. Look, they finish 1-2 every year. You beat your rival 18-1 like that. They're coming with a game. There's no clear pitching edge with Montgomery over Miley. Miley's had 1 bad start the entire year. Yes, it happened to be the last start. That's why it's an overlay, but this is a tremendous overlay. Same kind of thing with the Yankees. Guzman, you look at his numbers, he's been real good. He's been real good against the Yankees, but the Yankees they're back. They're scoring over 7 runs a game. $1.70, that's an absolute take. So yeah, could we get blown out again? Yes, we can. We could lose both those games. We could lose every game. It ain't a one-day thing. It ain't a one-week thing. Value comes over the course of the season. You take your value, you get your money.
And that's what it is, guys. Value, 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 value. We always talk about it. If you haven't yet, go check out the website, howtobeatthebookie.com. Download the app, How to Beat the Bookie. Make sure you guys sign up, like, subscribe to this video. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers right now on YouTube. That's the goal here. And other than that, John, we got a lot of action today, a lot of work to get to. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.